Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willow Journals. Welcome back to my channel. I am a journaler, journal maker and teacher of journaling courses, and today is day 3 of the Inspiration Journal course, which is a collage art journaling course. And just turning to my next page where the prompt for today is art. So these 2 pages I pulled from a Daphne's Diary magazine, and if you followed my channel for any amount of time, you know that Daphne's Diary magazine is my favorite magazine. I do flip throughs of it and I love sharing it with you because it's so beautiful and it always inspires me. It has lots of things I love, like vintage, flowers, birds, butterflies, and just really pretty, beautiful images, design, layout, that kind of thing. And there were these 2 pages that had, well, actually I think there were more than 2 pages, 3 or 4 even, where sometimes they highlight different artists, and this one they show some of the artists' work, and it was like notebook pages or journal pages, and with the writing there were pictures drawn or painted, and it reminded me of the Edith Holden books, you know, her Country Diary of an Edwardian lady and the nature notes of an Edwardian lady. It really reminded me of that because it had that kind of same handwriting font text style, and the pictures were kind of similar. And I love the Edith Holden books. I just think they're wonderful diaries of a combination of drawings or paintings, of pictures and words, of pictures and writing, and I love that combination of, because you could do either, you know, you could do just an art journal just of drawing, or you could just do a writing journal of your observations of the world, but pairing the 2 together, I don't know, there's something about how those pages look. They're just so beautiful, and I adore flipping through pages like that. So when I saw these images in the Daphne's Diary magazine, I definitely knew I wanted to do something with those in my own journal because they inspired me. I didn't know what to do with them. I just pulled them out, ripped them out of the magazine and put them aside in a basket. And then when I came to do this project, this was my journal where I could just place anything that inspired me, and it didn't have to have a reason why it inspired me, or it didn't have to all go together like from page to page to page in the journal. It didn't all have to be the same types of things that inspired me. It could just be any random thing that for whatever reason spoke to me, something that I found beauty in, something that delighted me, and something that inspired me. So that's where it just has come to rest in this journal, these images and these words in the pages from that magazine. So that's what I mean by encouraging you to collect your own magazine pages, book pages, illustrations, pictures, photos, ephemera, whatever it is, papers, lace, fabrics. And this journal, this collage art journal for me was an outlet to be able to put all those things, all those random things that I've been collecting and gathering over the years that I just knew I wanted to do something with but didn't know what. And I didn't have to have like a specific journal for this. I didn't have to have a specific theme or anything. It's just anything that speaks to me, anything that inspires me goes in here. So I love putting kind of another journaling style that I really am inspired by inside of my inspiration journal. It's kind of meta. And then I just cut everything out. So I could have just laid down the whole pages, but I took my time and I cut out each individual element and just look at them. Aren't they beautiful? These gorgeous pages, or the pictures of the pages, they're just beautiful. And to me, they inspire me to sort of do the same thing. I'm not the best at sketching. I'm not the best artist or anything, but I like the idea of just, you know, spending a bit of time adding a drawing or 2, a little sketch or 2 in my journal pages, because how wonderfully well does that enhance that page. You could have just left that as writing, but those pictures, oh my gosh, it's just so beautiful and makes you want to look at the page. It makes you want to engage with it, you know. I love those journals where you turn the pages and just every page is just got something beautiful on it, and you it invites you into the journal. It invites you to keep turning those pages and to enter into that world of that journal. So anyway, all of this to say that I'm putting this into my inspiration collage journal to remind me and to inspire me to do something like this. Maybe not necessarily a whole journal like this, but try maybe just one page in my journal. Try this particular style. Get my paints out, get some watercolors out, get my drawing pencils out, sketch something from my day, maybe a flower, or maybe I live near the beach, so maybe I could go to the beach one day with my journal, or even just a piece of paper, because I could cut out the piece of paper, stick it into my journal, and just paint or draw, or even just with a grey lead, just sketch, or a pen, just do a quick sketch of the beach, and just whatever it is that's meaningful to me. And so this leads me into the journaling prompt today of observation. So this idea of capturing our observations in our journals through art and through writing. So I'm using the artwork here from another artist in the magazine to inspire me to create my own art and to look at the world and observe the world and take notes in my journal, whether that's through drawing or writing. I want to try both, obviously, but how amazing would it be to have a full journal like that, of your own writing, of your little notes about what you've observed around you, and then pairing that with a picture. And you know, maybe that's not going to be everyone's thing. I don't even know it's going to be my thing, but I want to give it a go. I want to try it out, and maybe it'll start and end with just one page and I figure out, oh, it's not for me. I'm not actually into drawing that much. Maybe I'll find that, but maybe it's just another little thing you can add to your journaling toolkit, that even if you don't do it every single day or regularly even, that you can just use that one day when you so feel inspired to draw or paint something. And I'm just cutting out, like I said, all the little elements. I'm cutting out the bigger pages and also these little squares of artwork. And I'm just using the ones that really speak to me in terms of colour or what the image is. And there's one of some ballet slippers. So pretty, you guys. Oh my goodness. Love, love, love. So that represents me as a ballet dancer, and my love of ballet. There's some of birds. One of a bird, sorry. There's one of, it looks like a lady doing something crafty with her hands. There's one of like two friends or sisters or siblings or something walking with their arm around each other kind of thing. So it looks like to me that symbolizes friendship and that kind of thing. And then there's one of like a mother and a baby, and again that kind of symbolizes like connection, human connection and love and that kind of thing. So I just chose the ones that, whether the colours spoke to me or whatever the subject matter of the particular painting or drawing was that resonated with me, I put that onto the page. So these little tiny little squares, even those are another layer that I can add to my page, add to my collage, that tells a little piece of my story, whether it's, oh, look at that teal colour, look at that blue colour, that speaks to my heart, or look at that birds and flowers and butterflies are three of my symbols, and then the ballet slippers, of course, like all these different things represented on the page. So that if anyone asked, pointed to something on the page and said, well, why is that there? Why'd you put that on there? For me, I have a reason. With my journals, that I'm a bit of a detail freak, and I'm always thinking about what I'm putting on my pages in my journals. There's a reason, right? And I know that's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Some people just want to do complete random whatever, not think too much about it, and just put something on the page and it has no personal meaning or connection whatsoever, and it's just random. That's totally cool if that's for you. For me though, I can't help it. I tend to just love choosing anything that resonates with me, choosing something that symbolizes something to me, that means something to me, that then tells something part of my story. And I don't even know if it's possible, even when you're doing it completely random, I still think that it's going to say something about you. Like in that moment where you sat down and put something on the page, even if you didn't think about it, and even if you don't consciously think there's a connection, like a deeper, meaningful connection, there's still obviously something in that moment that drew you to it, whether you can verbalize it or not. And so therefore, I don't know, there's something about creativity, journaling, that when you do it, when you're in that act of creating, when you're in the act of writing, it is going to, anyway, I think, going to reflect something about you. So even if you did go that random route and you just don't want to get to thinking about specific details and stuff, and you just want to have fun and be random, I still think your pages will have some sort of meaning and connection to you, even if it's just purely subconscious, and even if it's just a pure, like, I don't know, like, just it's an expression of where you were at that time, at that moment when you sat down to create. And whatever comes out on the page, it's captured right there. And I don't know, I love that. I think that, again, is just so special. But yeah, whereas I take that kind of more to an up a notch, an extra level, and I am very intentional about it. I don't really do random very well. I am very intentional about choosing and selecting and arranging things on my page to go on my collage. And so, yeah, you might want to play around with that at home, see what fits your own personality best, your own creative style best, and your own journaling style. So give it a go. Maybe you want to do one time just a random collage, and then explore it though. That's the idea. When we journal, again, not for everyone. You might just want to have the page and that's done, and the process was therapeutic for you or enjoyable, and that's all you want to do. For me as well, I want to have that process and enjoy that process, but also then explore it. I want to ask questions and dive deeper into, well, what did I create? And okay, what can that teach me about this? And did I really enjoy that? Or maybe that's not for me. And then every time you create a page, it then informs your next pages, if that makes sense. And maybe, again, it's not completely something you're able to consciously or able to articulate, but by doing this practice, by being creative and journaling, by consistently doing it, you naturally will just find what resonates with you, what kind of style you want to do, what you get the most out of for your own joy, your own well-being, and for your own purposes of why you journal. So anyway, I challenge you to maybe do one page where it's completely random, and then try another page where everything you put onto that page you have selected for a reason, so that if anyone asked you and pointed to anything on that page and said, why is that there, you would have a thought out reason, because you put that on the page with intention. Maybe, again, not everyone's cup of tea. Maybe that sounds stressful to you, like too much thinking. But I'm always up for giving pretty much anything a go at least once, so then at least you can say you tried it and you can see what you got out of it or what you didn't get out of it. And I think that's important. I think that can teach us something about ourselves. And at the end of the day, I guess that's journaling for me, what it's all about, not just the fun and the enjoyable process, but it's the exploration. Journaling for me is about getting into connection with yourself, about knowing yourself better, about knowing others better, and about knowing the world better. And I don't know, if I can help pass that on to you as well out there at home, that journaling isn't just, oh, this is a fun activity, but something that you can use as a tool in your life to add something to your life, where you can learn and grow through your journaling. Like, what a gift. What a gift journaling is. Anyway, that's my experience of journaling. My experience of journaling is that, yes, it's equal parts fun and equal parts about the growth and the learning. And the fact that both of those are combined in one, it is wonderful, 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 wonderful. So you can see me just kind of playing around on my page. This one takes a bit longer because I've got so many different elements. Like, some pages are really quick and easy to do because it's just maybe even one whole page that I stick on top and then maybe add a little bit of collage over the top of it. Whereas this one, I'm kind of piecing together the whole page with different pictures, words, pages. And because, the magazine artist inspired or made me think of the Edith Holden book pages. I paired those together, so that's why the Edith Holden book pages are on these pages. And I'm just trying to bring everything together. So a little tip, like a collage tip, is to make it look more like a collage. One way to do that is to get a piece and just place it so it's overlapping different elements on your page. Otherwise it can kind of look like each element is separate. Like you've got lots of elements on the page, but they can all look very isolated and separate. And so to bring it all together, the key for me is overlapping. Overlap your pieces. So you might want to just lay down your bigger pieces first, and then to bring those bigger pieces together, or any gaps that you need to fill, you can add your little pieces that can go over each other piece, if that makes sense. And just keep doing that until you kind of have overlap throughout your collage, and that just ties everything together. But yeah, like I said, again, I want to keep reiterating this throughout the course. Just have fun with this and don't get too precious about it. It's not about making the most beautiful collage that looks well put together. Honestly, if you just want to slap things on the page and it kind of looks random, just go for it. Like, it's all okay. You can have, a messy, chaotic page that's completely random and still get something out of it. I don't know. If you have any other collage tips or tricks, or if you if you ever have any questions, feel free to put them down in the comments, because there's never a dumb question, right? And you never know if other people out there may have the same question. And I'm trying to be comprehensive and thorough when I'm doing these voiceovers, but something might slip my mind, or I might not explain something very well, or I might leave something out. So if you have anything you want to share or any questions, feel free to pop that down in the comments. I never get sick of questions, so don't ever feel like you're bugging me with questions. I absolutely love them. Anyway, so what was I saying? The journaling prompt for our art pages is observation. So I was talking about this in the patron video for the journaling video yesterday, how sometimes I have an idea of what I want to journal about and how I want to journal about it, but then it all goes out the window and I end up journaling about something else, and or journaling in a completely different style. For example, yesterday's page, I thought I was going to journal like a proper paragraph, like sentences, but in the end what I ended up journaling was more like quotes and lists. So very different to what I originally planned. So same sort of thing happened with this page. I thought I was going to perhaps write some observations, some life observations around the page, but in the end I just used a piece of journaling space to write about how these pages inspired me and what they motivated me to do. So pretty much what I just told you about why I chose these pages, I wrote down in my journaling space, and then how I'm inspired by these pages to try it myself, to try pairing drawing with writing. And I guess how these pages make me, what they make me want to explore is finding a way, or doing it more as a practice of getting my observations down on the page. So observations of daily life and reflections of daily life, observations of the world around me, and observations of my inner world. That's the type of things that I want to capture in my journal. And I don't mind how I do that. Like if it's not through drawing and writing, that doesn't bother me. The method doesn't really bother me. The point is that I just want to get the observations down, and I want to pay attention, and I want to journal about it. However that looks, whether it's straight writing, whether it's through photos and writing, whether it's just through collage and photos, I'm happy. And either way, what's important to me is observing the world around me, observing my inner world, and then putting that down on paper, however that looks. And I encourage you to do that too. Observe your world around you, observe your inner world, and express that on the page however you want. I'm hoping that through this journal course and all my journal courses, it's all just me sharing my own personal journaling process and different journaling techniques, prompts, styles, in the hopes that it helps you to figure out how you want to journal at home, so that you can then get your observations down on the page, which then you can do all of that exploring and learning and growing through that. I also wanted to mention how your collage book can be whatever you want it to be. So what I'm teaching in the free course on my channel is how to make your pages, how you can make personalized pages that can be highly meaningful to you, where a journal is such a personal thing, and by creating your pages from scratch, like covering every square inch of the page with your pieces, that is a way to make this journal feel way more personal, way more meaningful. But once you've got that base, you can then use your collage journal however you want. I've mentioned that you can keep it the way it is. That's perfect. Or you can use it how I'm using it, where I'm adding journaling to it, and I'm also adding other things later on. Like I keep adding on layers. So if you want to see those videos of the actual journaling, they go up each day over on my Patreon for the Sapphire tier. And yeah, so basically as soon as you finish watching the collage video on my channel, you can hop over to my Patreon and check out the journaling video. The link to that is down below in the description box. And yeah, so you could add journaling, or you could, some other ideas I'll just throw out there. If you're like, I've got this book, I created this book, but now what do I do with it? You could use it as a photo book. So you've prepared your pages, maybe now you want to stick some photos on each page. One photo per page, or maybe a few photos, a few photos scattered around. You might just want to use it as a gratitude journal. You could use it as a faith journal. You could use it as a quotes journal. You could use it as a prayer journal. I mean, you use it however you want. But I love this idea that you're preparing these pages that are highly, highly personal to you. And then that's a base for you to do whatever you want and find your own journaling method, style, whatever you want to call it. And then for me, I don't know about you, but I'm going to keep making collage books like this. And perhaps, yeah, one will be a faith one will be a gratitude one, maybe one will just be a photo book, maybe one I'll just leave as a collage book, maybe one I also want to add some paint over the top and do some more mixed media type stuff. I don't know, but I'm really, if you can't tell, I'm really inspired by this collage type of journaling where you get to create your own pages and then you get to choose what you do with it. I should mention this piece here, I believe, is part of the 30-page collage kit with over 150 pieces. So there isn't a freebie today. There's freebies scattered throughout the course, but that there are blank sheets of vintage papers that I included in the 30-page collage kit for this course. And I definitely wanted to include some blank papers for you. There's some lined as well. There's a whole range, just so that you can have writing space. Because if you're looking at these collages going, where do I put my writing? Like, it's all pictures from the collage, or it's all patterns. What I do is, yeah, I get a blank piece of lovely paper. Like, choose blank paper that speaks to you. If you can, obviously. Vintage papers are my favorite. Vintage ledgers, love all that kind of thing. So I tend to use that type of paper for my journaling space. And then you find a space to pop that on your page for your journaling space. And I have incorporated, as you can see, within my collage already. Other times I'll make my collage first and then get some journaling space and stick that over the top later on. So that's up to you, whatever you prefer, whatever order you want to put your journaling space on there. But that's what I'm thinking about as I'm laying out my page, is if I don't even include my journaling space as I'm making my collage, what I am thinking about though is where will I put my journaling space when I come to write. So you maybe just have that in the back of your mind because if you're anything like me, I don't like covering pretty things. And so if I have a collage where everything is pretty, I'll have a really hard time adding journaling space to it because I don't want to cover it up. So as I'm making my collage, I'm always thinking about, okay, where do I want my journaling space? Even if I don't stick it on right then and there, I'm thinking in the future, where do I want my journaling space? And I'm kind of leaving somewhere blank, if that makes sense. Or not necessarily blank, but somewhere where I don't put something beautiful. You kind of, with a collage as well, I guess another tip, you want your background pieces and then you want the special pieces to go on top so that obviously nothing is covering those up. And just think about placement. Think about where you want to place those special pieces so that you can really focus in on those and enjoy those pieces, but also making sure you're not going to have to cover them up later with whatever it is, your photos, your journaling space, because that's another thing I'm thinking about. And something to keep in mind is I'm using my collage journal not just to write on, but to stick photos on later, maybe stick some fabric on later as well, maybe stick some other things that the page is talking to me about that I have in my stash. And so I'm in the back of my mind thinking about where else can I place other things, where could I place a photo on here. And that does take maybe a little bit of forward thinking and planning. And I guess that's just my nature as well. I'm kind of that type of person. I'm always planning ahead, and I don't even mean to. Like, I don't like, okay, plan ahead. It just naturally, that's how I'm wired. And as I'm creating, I don't have to tell myself, plan ahead. I'm always just naturally planning ahead. So if that's something that you want to just keep in the back of your mind as you're creating, otherwise what you end up doing is you create this amazing collage and it's everywhere's beautiful, and then you don't want to cover it up, which is totally cool if that's what you want to do. You can have a standalone collage. You don't need to add anything else. You don't have to add any writing. But yeah, if you're one of those people who do want to add photos and other things on top and you're writing, then just think about that. Just think about, where could I leave a bit of space to add something else later on if I want? And I guess the tip with that is, how do I do it with my process? Let me try to articulate that. As I'm going about my page, I'm kind of naturally thinking about what I want to journal about, because, like I've mentioned before, the pieces themselves tell me what to journal about. The pieces themselves prompt me. They give me the journaling prompts. And so as I'm putting it together, my mind is naturally making those connections, like, oh, this is reminding me of that photo. Oh, let's put that photo on later down the track when I come back to this page to journal on it. Or, oh, this page is reminding me of that story when I went to that place. Maybe I could go to that place and get a flyer from that place so I could put on the page. Just trying to think of more examples. So on the map page, the map right then and there told me, okay, this map is giving me a journal prompt to journal about home, because it's a map of home. And then, okay, well, that leads to then, let's take a photo of home and let's put a photo of home on the page. So therefore I know, okay, make sure there's space on this page for not only journaling space, but a photo of home. And that all came from a map, just one map, right? So as you're compiling your collage, the pieces themselves will be speaking to you, hopefully, about, and your mind will be naturally making connections and associations. Memories will come up, and you'll be inspired to journal about whatever it is. So for me, I already know these pieces are prompting me to journal about observing the world. They're prompting me to journal about how I want to try this idea of pairing drawing with writing. And I didn't really add anything to this one. This is one of those pages where there's a lot of pretty things happening on the page, and so most of the collage is me trying to figure out how to make room for every piece. And therefore I kind of know, all right, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of different elements kind of fighting for attention already, so I kind of know in my own process that, yeah, okay, this is going to be a page where I don't add any of my own photos. It's not going to be a page where I add anything else except for the writing and maybe I don't know, something neutral. And I was thinking about actually getting a pencil and maybe doing my own little sketch somewhere on the page. If you're going to watch the journaling video over on my Patreon, you'll see that I didn't end up doing that. Again, you can have all these intentions of what you are going to do, but then as you just sit down at your desk, it's like, nope, that's out the window. This is now what I'm inspired to do, and that's totally okay. Yeah, it's really fun. I'll just read out these quotes that are from the magazine that I stuck on the page. I believe that everyone's got a tale to tell and a picture to paint. I love that. So that's why I put that quote there. And I believe that too. I tend to believe that too. I believe, if I was to put that into my own words, I believe that everyone has stories to tell and memories to document through whatever means it is. It doesn't have to be through paint. It could be through, literally just writing, through collage, and I suppose, through this book. I believe, here we go. This is me coming up with quotes on the spot. I have a little thing where I do tend to make up lots of quotes. So I should gather them in a journal one time, just my own ones. I've got a quote journal where I combined the quotes I come up with other quotes that are my favourites from other people. But maybe one day I should create my own quote book of just my quotes. And now I'm getting really inspired. Oh my gosh. Where I've already had this kind of idea before, but it's all coming back to me. Where I pair my quotes with either a picture that I draw that relates to the quote, or a photo that relates to the quote, or some journaling about where that quote came from. Oh my gosh, what a fun idea. I love that. Anyway, I realise I'm running out of time, so I'm going to leave you with that, and I hope you have fun.
Thank you to my beautiful patrons who supported me in April. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this for another month. It really means the absolute world to me, and I could not do this without you. If you would like to become a patron in May, I will leave the link below to my Patreon down in the description box. That's where you get access to more videos from me, personal updates, printables, and if you're a Ruby patron or higher, you get every single digital kit from my Etsy with a new kit each month. If you would like to support my channel through a one-off donation, you can do that through PayPal to my email address or through Buy Me a Coffee. And if you'd like to be part of any of my journaling courses, I'm starting them again in May for the month of May. So feel free to email me to register, and I hope you have fun journaling your life because your stories matter.